Hi, my name is Christy Pelletier, and I just needed to share something with you that I experienced today. My sister-in-law, Michelle Pelletier, is actively dying from stage 4 metastasized bladder cancer. She is an inpatient right now at Eastern Maine Medical Center in Bangor, Maine, and she's one of 10 kids who grew up in a military family following their Air Force pilot of a dad around the world, different Air Force bases all over the world. It's an amazing, proud Franco-American family. Their parents grew up in Aroostook County, Maine. They spoke French growing up, and I'm just really honored, and it feels like such a privilege to be married into this family. And today, the 5 siblings who live locally near Michelle were all trying to see her at the hospital, and the staff did at one point let us all go in and pray with her and all be with her together for a few moments, and we did that. And then they came in and said only 3 could be in there, so we started spending time out in the main corridor away from the patient rooms and taking turns going in there and being in there. And then somebody came and said, we think she's going really soon, so we all went back in. Just a few minutes after that, we were told that we needed to leave and only 2 people could be with her. And one of the siblings asked me if I could go talk to somebody because they're all just really tired and they're grieving. They're deeply grieving the loss of their sister. And so I went out to talk to the nurse who told me that they were sticking to their rule and only 2 people could be with Michelle while she died. And they said the rest of you have to go out and you can take turns being in there, which we had been doing already. And I said, I need to talk to somebody with more power than you. Can you get me somebody? So a few minutes later, this woman who said she was the hospital nurse administrator came in to inform us of what the rules were. And she basically just gave us her rote memorization of what the rules were going to be because of COVID. And there was no care given to this family that's losing their family member. It was all just what their rules were and how they had to follow their rules. And I said, so let me ask you a question. When she's actively dying and she's in the moments when we know she's dying, will we all be able to be in there with her? And she said, no, only 2. And I said, well, what if we just stay? What if we decide we're not going to listen to that rule and we just stay to be with our sister? And she said, we will have you physically removed by security. Now, just think about that for a second. People are looting and stealing and burning and defacing and doing all kinds of illegal stuff in cities all over the country, including taking over 6 blocks of the city of Seattle. And all of these people who were so against border walls immediately put up a border wall of their new little fiefdom. And I have to say, 5 siblings who just want to be with their sister who's dying are going to be physically removed by security if they don't leave on their own. Just let that sink in for a second. So I asked this woman, do you have a family? And she said, yes, I do. Not as big as this, but I have a family. I said, how would you like your family have to choose which 2 are going to be with you when you're dying? And she just shook that off and went straight back to talking about her rule. And she said, you can't stay. And she said, you coming back and forth, all of you can't be out here in the hallway where we were talking to her. And she said, you're risking everybody here by possibly bringing COVID in. And I said, we haven't been doing that. We haven't even left the floor, never mind the hospital. We were all screened and we're waiting in the hallway for our turn to be in here. She said, oh, you can't do that. You need to leave the hospital. Why don't you go to a cafe or something to wait for your turn to be with her? And I said, wait, we challenged her on that. I was like, wait a minute. If this is about COVID, how is it better if we leave the hospital where we've been screened and we go out to a restaurant and we're risking being around more people, including the food preparation people and the servers and everybody and the other guests? And how is that better? It made absolutely no sense. It made absolutely no sense. And I just can't even believe. Just imagine trying to choose which 2 of your family members would be with you while you died. I would want my husband and all of my children and my grandchildren that are old enough to deal with it, and all of my siblings and both my mom and my dad who are still alive and well. I can't even imagine all of them having to choose which two could be with me in the moments when I was dying. It's disgusting and it's wrong, and so many mistakes are being made during this time. Not letting people be there when their child is born. My son had to miss the first ultrasound of his first child. These are moments you can never get back. And being with someone who you love that's dying is a basic human right. And I am not going to just sit back and do nothing. I promise you that.